Andrea Donsky, host of New Hope Network's Soapbox Series, and today I'm here with Jason Mitchell, CEO and founder of HempFusion, and Ian Dequeiroz, Chief of Brand Strategy for HempFusion. Welcome to the show, Jason and Ian.
Thanks, Andrew, for having us.
Jason, let's start with you. What makes HempFusion different when it comes to CBD products and CBD manufacturers?
So when we first started the company, we started in some of the early phase years, and Ian and I and our other partners, Andrew and Ryan, when we were talking about this, we were asking one very primary question: is this legal? And that was a key issue of the time for sure, and it still is to this day. And so everything started from the raw material. And for me, my background is I'm a board certified naturopathic doctor. I've been in the industry for a long time, and I don't believe in isolated compounds. So there was the legal issue, and how can we actually produce a really high quality product that has an unbelievable breadth of difference that it can make in your body. So when we were looking at this, we had to secure what we believed to be a proper supply chain. And as it relates, it started with our raw materials. So everything that we did was a DNA verified heirloom hemp cultivars. And what that means is it's not a hybrid of marijuana. These are actual true industrial hemp strains that are EU Commission registered. And that's key because it actually knows that the bloodline per se of the plant is truly pure, and that it in fact is an industrial hemp cultivar that's been grown for hundreds of years. And then it was about the extraction, making sure that when we extract that it's not just CBD that we're going to grab. We're going to grab all these other seemingly minor cannabinoids, things like CBG and CBC, not just the one that we all like to talk about, which is CBD. And it's because of this thing that's come to be known as the entourage effect that's so important. These cannabinoids work together, but even more important, there's things like terpenes and flavonoids and omegas and all of these wonderful things that live inside this plant. And we want to make sure that we're as close to a natural fingerprint as possible. Now, what makes it possible for us to do is create really amazing products that truly make a difference. But when we're looking at this from a quality standpoint, we wanted to first make sure also not only that we had the right hemp strains, but that we grew it correctly. Since day one, we've only ever grown organic hemp. And as the USDA finalized their farming program in 2019, we then subsequently moved on to taking our organic hemp from Europe and making sure it was USDA certified organic here in the US, so that we can subsequently use it in all of our products and even have certified organic products. Now, from there, we then had to do what is, I believe, the responsibility of every manufacturer, and that is to make sure that we make products that are safe for consumers. So for the last 3 years, we've been investing literally millions alongside with our raw material supplier to make sure that we've gone through the necessary studies to make sure that everything is safe for consumption. And so we've done rather extensive toxicology studies, as well as being involved in what is now being considered the largest human observational liver toxicology study that's ever been done at the request of the FDA. And the FDA is now in possession of this information and feels encouraged. We believe that having a safe and proper supply chain means that we make better products for our consumers. So such an important piece of the puzzle when it started from our beginning. So I would say that's one piece that makes us different. The second piece is our product formulations. So product formulations are key because you want to make sure that they meet the needs of the consumer. They're need-based, such as when we look at data, such as Brightfield Group, they show that products that are related to pain, sleep, and stress are the 3 primary categories of focus. And as a result, we have created products that qualify for all of those different specific need states. In fact, one of our first products, and still to this day, one of our most successful, is our HempFusion Sleep. And I think everybody knows that if we don't have good quality sleep, I don't know that you can have a good quality day. So there's a lot more we could share on products and so forth, but that's the primary thing that makes us truly different.
Yeah, I love everything that you said. And it's so great to hear how much quality and how much effort you're putting into making this product and HempFusion an unbelievable company and brand. Ian, I just want to move on to you for a minute. What are some unique ways that you're driving brand awareness for HempFusion?
Sure. So, HempFusion really is a pioneer in this space. We were one of the very first to come out into brick and mortar retail. And we started from a place where we'd walk into, whether it was a meeting with a buyer or just general dialogue with our consumers, and no one really even knew what CBD was. Why would you take it? Is this legal? So we started from a place that was just, so far behind what a general industry kind of starting point might be. And now we've come to this place only a few years later where everyone knows what it is. Everybody knows someone who is using or taking hemp CBD, and it's kind of become almost like a fad or something that's like cool now, and it's starting to move into mainstream culture. It's on the tip of everyone's tongues. And so with HempFusion, we've really been lucky to, I'd say, ride that wave in its entirety. We've had some incredible brand partners, brand ambassadors, literally sharing and sharing stories, sharing information, sharing products out there with the world. We've been able to participate with some incredible events. And overall, I'd say our presence online has been growing very quickly over the last year or so. And a lot of that is thanks to incredible partners and people who want to share our stories, share about our products. So I think that's what I'm most excited about now, is just the network of people that are beginning to get behind the HempFusion story and share it.
And how would you say you're educating and driving consumers into the stores to buy it?
So, I mean, being that we're coming out of 2020, there's kind of this shift away from retail, which is, something that in a way took us, like many people, by surprise. We were a very strong brick and mortar retail sales. We have incredible partners in the natural products industry and across, retail in the United States. And all of a sudden, customers were beginning to shop more online. And so, supporting the retail community has been incredibly important to us. And we, to this day, are running exclusive promos, giveaways. We have social media collaborations with retail stores. We're advertisers in various different types of print magazines and publications. And so really the entire gamut of tools available to us to get the brand out there, to get people into stores and to support the retailers. I'd say there's almost nothing that we leave unturned when it comes to that.
Jason, let's come back to you for a minute. What new products and advancements is HempFusion bringing to the market?
So some of the things that we're focused on is really data driven, because over the last year, if it's taught us nothing, it's taught us to make sure that we look inward to see where we actually match up to the consumer and where we don't. And by important data that we've been taking part in reviewing over the last several months, we've identified that certain categories that we didn't cover as well are the areas where most people are purchasing. So some of the new products that we're coming out with, one, we launched an entire line of USDA certified organic tinctures. And these tinctures, as delicious as they are now, we're actually coming out with additional flavors and even coming to what would be the opposite of what you would think, but an unflavored, so that people can utilize hemp CBD in so many different ways. Also focusing on gummies. Now, not in the area to market to children like in teddy bears or worms, but instead having that fun, because I think we're all kind of closet vitamin users in the gummy format. I think we wouldn't admit it, but I have bags of them sitting to the right of me, and I actually prefer those than swallowing capsules because they're kind of fun. And so looking at gummies are really, really important. Also taking our existing products that we launched with a few years ago and improving them to where we're meeting closer to the need of the consumer. One of our biggest innovative launches we did over the last year was a line of OTC drug listed products. And these are topical products that are designed to specifically offer relief from things like pain or eczema and so on, but making sure that we manufacture them correctly, because whenever you're going through a drug validation process, there are specific nuances you have to consider. Not only that of what the FDA would be concerned with, but also how the manufacturing steps are to properly validate the product. And we've followed all the regulations to the T to make sure that we have great products. Now, we can't give you too much information about the future, but there are some things coming that we're very excited about.
Well, I'm excited to hear about them when you're ready to share. I have one last question for each of you. Jason, let's start with you. How do you, Jason Mitchell, spark change?
When I first started this in 2011, at least the thinking of it, it was because I became ill and I was exposed to the idea of cannabis. And at that time, I was rabidly against cannabis, like the opposite. Ian and I come from two completely different places. In fact, he's inspired me in many ways in the years that we've come together. But when I first started this, I grew up in the 80s as a kid, where it was the gateway drug. It was say no to drugs. I mean, it was all those things. And I came by it quite honestly. How do I spark change? Is making sure that we make the very best products, but educate people on why this is so important. Because I came from a place of rabid, I just didn't believe it was true. I was totally and completely against it, to where I'm now like radically trying to promote this, because I found out myself through my own education, because when I was in medical school, they didn't teach me about the endocannabinoid system. Now that I know it, I need to apologetically say, listen, I'm sorry for being so dumb early. Now I want to inspire people that perhaps are from my generation or others that may actually be in that same position, because this is truly what I believe will unlock the mysteries of science that scientists have been struggling with for decades. And hemp and CBD and cannabis, they're very powerful tools for health and wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian, how about you?
Yeah, I think, Jason really hit it on the head. Like, one of the things that we found fascinating is that this plant has been a part of human history for thousands of years. It's been documented as a part of human healthcare for thousands of years. And because of in many ways, an 80-year misinformation campaign, it was no longer a part of our diets or our lives or our lifestyles. And so this has been really an incredible journey to kind of participate in a resurgence of an industry and a plant and a wellness product that's been with us for thousands of years. And so to be part of a company that is, one of the ones driving this forward into, honestly, hopefully the next many thousands of years of this again being a part of our health and our wellness routines, I think that's an incredible way to spend our time, honestly.
Thank you both for being on the show today.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks, Andrew, for having us.
And thanks to all of you for watching New Hope Network Soapbox Series. I'm Andrea Donsky, your host. We'll see you next time.